grab your cleaning spray. We're going to a hotel. Okay, guys, I've been spending way too much time alone, and I am back traveling, so I wanted to share some information that I have gained over the last couple of weeks from traveling during a pandemic.
If you love travel, nature, and the outdoors, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications, and get ready for adventure.
Travel is a privilege, but here's the reality today. Back in April, we had just 78,000 people going through TSA checkpoints here in the US, and as of July 30th, more than 700,000 went through. So people are starting to travel again, but how can we do it safely, and how do we know that the airlines, the hotels, and the car rental agencies we're going on are doing the best job? First things first, wherever you're traveling, make sure if you are outside the house, you are wearing a mask. There are so many good brands these days, and I've got some great suggestions if you want those down below. Let's talk hotels first. There are so many people heading out on road trips right now. I went on one of about 3,000 miles out to visit my mother in Colorado, where I stayed for several weeks this summer, and I mainly stayed at campsites on the way there, but on the way back, I did stay at some hotels. I am back to work as well, and we are being basically sequestered in hotels while we are working. So there's a lot of different stuff going on across all the different hotel chains. What I have found is that it is the higher, more luxurious hotels that are doing a better job on cleaning. Now, right now I'm actually staying at a Comfort Suites. And as far as the cleanliness level at this hotel, I would not give it a very high rating. Now, in order to stay safe at hotels, I think there are a few things that you can do. Number one, it's very important where you book. I think it's important to know the policies of the hotel you're going to stay at. And it's important also that you bring cleaning spray with you. If you are road tripping, if you are flying on a plane, I recommend bringing enough alcohol wipes to be able to wipe down your room when you get inside. The first thing that I did when I checked in was actually ask the front desk if I could get a room that had no one in it for 48 hours. Unfortunately, that was not available at this hotel. They also told me that they were cleaning the carpets between each guest, which is actually impossible if there's less than 12 hours between them. So I wiped down every surface that I could see in here that I might possibly touch for the first 2 days with alcohol wipes and sanitized everything. I tried to keep my socks on when I was walking around on the carpet and just tried not to touch a lot of stuff. So that's at a budget hotel. The higher up of the hotel that you get, like I stayed at a Marriott also, and the Marriott was better. And the one thing I liked about Marriott, if you get the Marriott Bonvoy app on your phone, you can actually do a keyless entry at those hotels. So your room key actually goes on your smartphone. You don't have to go to the front desk at all and deal with maybe people that are not wearing masks in the lobby. You can just go right to your room, wipe it down, and kind of sequester yourself in there. I also stayed at an Intercontinental, which so far with the amount of hotels that I've stayed in has been the best as far as cleanliness. They actually had sanitizing wipes and alcohol wipes next to the bed. They had the TV remote in a plastic bag saying that it had been sanitized, as well as the appliances and coffee maker in the room. So far, of what I've experienced, the Intercontinental gets the win. Now, a lot of you may be wondering about Airbnb and vacation rentals, which seem like a safer bet because you obviously don't have to worry about being around people in the lobby or being around people touching an elevator or a staircase or a doorknob. So already, I think a vacation rental is a better option if that is something that fits for you. But keep in mind that not all of the listings on Airbnb are going to be abiding by the same cleaning measures. Airbnb has rolled out a new cleaning parameter that properties can follow, but they don't have to. And that parameter actually gives a buffer window in between parties of, I believe, 48 hours or 72 hours. Meaning that even if it isn't cleaned properly or to the EPA standards, that the virus would have hopefully died on all of the hard surfaces within that home if there was any virus present. Now, VRBO does not have this policy. If you are renting through VRBO, know that it is up to the owner's discretion, and that might be different for every property. So it's good to just ask questions and try to figure out what the place you're staying at has as far as cleaning practices and measurements to keep you safe. So let's talk airlines. I actually flew on Allegiant, Sun Country, Delta, and Southwest, and they're all doing things a little bit differently. This was for domestic travel within the United States. So out of the airlines that I've flown here in the United States, Delta was the best. Delta actually has a disinfectant spray that they spray throughout the plane between every flight. They also are giving you Purell sanitizing wipes when you board the plane. They give you basically a little snack pack that has a water bottle, a granola bar, and I think something else in a little sealed plastic bag, which unfortunately is a lot of plastic waste just throughout this pandemic that we're seeing with everything in single-use packaging across businesses. Really around the world, we're seeing that, which is unfortunate. But with that being said, Delta also made an effort to talk about COVID-19 on the plane and say what they were doing as far as cleaning measurements and protocols. It is also required that you wear a mask on pretty much every airline across the board as of right now. The airports are a different story. Some are required, some are not. But if I were you, I would wear a mask all the time if you are outside the house until the pandemic dies down. Now, the other airlines, like Southwest Airlines, I initially thought was doing a really, really good job. They actually decided just this week that they are no longer going to be cleaning seat belts and armrests in between flights, which means that you need to be diligent about bringing either hand sanitizer or alcohol wipes or some sort of wipe that you can wipe your seat back down with, your seat belt, and your armrests. They are focusing on mainly tray tables and bathrooms on these Southwest flights. Allegiant and Sun Country were lower down on the list. These are more budget airlines, and they were doing a lot less to keep you safe. On Sun Country, they didn't even mention the pandemic. They did say, thank you if you're wearing a mask, and that there will be no drink or food service on the flight, which is pretty much across the board also, other than Delta giving you those little pre-made bags. Most of these airlines are not doing normal beverage or food service. So another kind of tip for flying is to bring whatever you need as far as drinks and food. Bring a water bottle so that you can refill it at the airport, and bring whatever snacks that you want either from home or purchase in the airport. But know that actually a lot of the airports do not have the food service venues even open yet. So a lot of the places are still closed, especially if they are takeout options. A lot of the airports, you're just going to see the stores open and not the food vendors. Now, there's many of you that might be heading out on a road trip. I headed out on a road trip, as I said, to visit my mom. I stayed at some campgrounds along the way, and there are so many people heading out on road trips right now and staying at campgrounds. So campgrounds are becoming super, super crowded, and they're really a place that you should be careful about because of shared bathrooms and shared spaces like that. Now, you are in the open air, so that's great, but if you are using public restrooms and things like that, make sure you're washing your hands diligently. You're trying to avoid touching any hard surfaces, and if you are, you're either wiping them down or washing your hands afterwards. So I have found so far that the campgrounds that I've gone to were really great. I actually looked for kind of the more obscure and out in the wilderness places so that I would be around less people. But so far I found a really good experience out camping. Just make sure, please, if you are going camping or road tripping or to a national park or a wilderness area, that you pack out everything that you bring with you. There is so much litter that I'm seeing everywhere, especially out in the wilderness areas and the national parks, and it's really, really a sad thing that I don't like to see. So if you are going out, whatever you bring with you, you can take back out with you. I also believe if you're traveling right now, you need to do it responsibly, not only to protect yourself, but to protect those around you and people and healthcare workers in those communities that you're going into and bringing who knows what with you. Number 1, do your research ahead of time. Is COVID-19 spreading in your community? Is it spreading in the community you're going to visit? If the answer is yes, then you might want to put off travel, or you might want to add in some extra precautions when you are going to travel. If the answer is no, then this might be a good time to hit the road and travel, but make sure you're social distancing and wearing a mask. And that's step number 2, making sure you are protecting yourself and those around you by wearing a mask, washing your hands often, and staying a safe distance away from people. This also means that when you're going to a place, try to avoid those places that are going to be super crowded. If you're going to visit a national park, maybe go at off-peak times of day, or pick some of the monuments or hikes or other locations that you want to see that are a little bit less likely to be visited. Number 3, get tested. Now, this is absolutely something you should do if you're going to be traveling to see anyone outside of your normal bubble, or if you're going to be in confined spaces with people that you do not know or that you don't want to transmit anything to. I know that it is hard to get tested in a lot of places still, but I would definitely try to sign up for an appointment a little bit in advance of when you are traveling, just in case, so you can get tested and find out the results before you leave. Number 4, prepare for the unexpected. It's important to pack what you need as far as safety equipment goes. Make sure you pack an extra mask or 2. Plastic gloves are great, or some sort of glove that you can wash. I have some great gardening gloves that I wear when I go into the grocery store. Also, any other sort of cleaning spray, alcohol wipes, hand sanitizer. You want to bring extra and have it in an easy reachable place in your bag or your purse that you can access while you are on the road. Support local businesses. Now, this is a big one. As we know, a lot of the economy has been shut down by the pandemic. And if you can support any local businesses at the places you are traveling to, that is absolutely fantastic. Also, keep in mind that a lot of places are going cashless, so you will want to bring a credit card or debit card to be able to pay for a lot of the things along the way if you're road tripping or traveling via plane. Number 6, be patient and tip well. Especially if you're going out to restaurants, coffee shops, even hotels, anywhere where you're going to be getting a service. These service people are really also on the front line because they are seeing lots of people throughout the day from who knows where. And make sure you're wearing a mask and be respectful of these people that are there really showing up and risking their lives to give you what you want. So be respectful and be nice to them and tip them well, because not everyone's back to work. And if you're out traveling and you want great service, then these are the people you need to thank for that. So be nice. Number 7, you're going to want to check for any local regulations in the community of where you're going and make sure you're following the rules. Now, not every county or city or town in the United States has a mask mandate, but a lot of them do. And some of them have other rules as well, as far as socially distancing and what businesses can be open. So make sure you actually do the research and know about where you're traveling to and what the rules are for that particular place. So wherever you're traveling to, whether it be on an airline, in a car, or maybe via bicycle, just make sure you're socially distancing and wearing a mask. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether or not you're traveling soon, what your concerns are, what you're maybe excited to see, and make sure you're staying safe out there.